Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts. In this video I'll be looking at Transformers issue 9. Okay, so this is Transformers issue 9, which is another one of the anniversary covers. So they all interlink, it's rather cool. Got Fallen Bumblebee on there, which is pretty decent. Looks like we've got Dreadnoks and a few other people, Cliff Jumper, a G.I. Joe Baroness, so that's quite interesting. But yeah, good stuff, nice cover. So we have the Autobots are basically trying to find that power surge that they detected last issue, which is the Decepticons basically activating their ship and doing some other stuff to try and drain energy from this kind of giant whirlpool thing. This big blast comes out, disables poor old Jetfire, so he loses a wing, so he can't transform, he also loses a wing. They go down there, the Constructicons are down there, Cliffjumper's injured, and emerging from this portal that is apparently because of Cybertron comes one of my favourite characters, Shockwave. I do love Shockwave. I vaguely remember Shockwave being the only Transformer that didn't have a human face when they first came out. And yeah, and also in the UK, you couldn't buy a Shockwave toy. I remember going on holiday when I was a kid to Spain, and there was Shockwave there, and I didn't buy it because I thought it might be a fake one, and now I regret it because I love the Shockwave. Shockwave is great. Anyway, so Shockwave's there. He is able to transform into a gun for Soundwave, which is really cool as well, which is nice. So it used to be really big when he transformed. Whether he does both, I don't know. Anyway, Cliff Jumper is going to get shot by Shockwave, but Ratchet gets in the way, and Ratchet is completely splattered. So we've lost Ratchet straight away, or at least, you know, he's injured considerably. So Prime goes a bit crazy, kicks Shockwave out of his hand. Shockwave retransforms, and there's a bit of a showdown and a fight going on here as well. And then we have quite an interesting thing here as well. We've got RC and Wheeljack with his new legs going back with Carly to get to town. Spike is here, basically says that he might not walk again, but says there's a possibility he might not walk again. So I reckon there'll be some kind of cybernetic implant or something going on there anyway. And who turns up for there? Astro Train. Now that's weird because Astro Train, I don't remember Astro Train being one of the few that was saved, but it's possibly might have been. Anyway, Astro Train seems like respectful of his bravery, and Astro Train doesn't seem like completely evil, like like the other ones where Starscream was happily squishing people just for the fun of it. Astro Train's kind of saying, "Oh yeah, very impressive. I'm going to take you away to go and see Soundwave." Because he's asked me to do so, and he's kind of like, "Oh, you're very brave for a little squishy monster." So the fighting still at the base. Jazz is put down. Prime's losing. Prime gets body slammed. Tombstoned again. You can tell Warren Johnson is writing this because obviously wrestling stuff is going on. So, well, back on Cybertron, we've got the Combaticons and Elite 1 and the damaged version of Ultra Magnus, obviously trying to find this way out of the citadel they're in, and she finds a portal, and lo and behold, the portal brings them to Earth. So she smashes into Shockwave. The Combaticons start making their way through, but Elite 1 grabs Prime's gun and cuts the one of the Combaticons in half, and I cannot remember what it's called. Don't think I had the No, I didn't have the Combaticons. We had Motor Master and the aerial bots, or whatever they're called. Them. Yeah. Anyway, so they're gone. Cliff Jumper and Jazz are caught in the explosion. They basically flee with Ultra Magnus and the Elite 1 on the front of Prime, and we have Cliff Jumper and Jazz left behind. So we think, okay, they're going to die. They don't kill them. Basically what they say is that you've been here. Shockwave kind of says, "Oh, right, I'm going to analyse you because you've been on this planet for, again, very, very vague, a long time. We don't kind of say 150 years, or even like like used to do in the old comics. You say like, oh, you've been here for 150 rails, and the rail is equal to 1.62. Yeah. But no, so it's nothing like that. But so they kind of brought two new characters in, lost 2 characters plus Ratchet as well. So that's quite interesting. Astro Chain turns up. and basically takes him down, and it kind of crashes out the ground after being hit by some kind of concussive force that's caused the engine to shut down. He crashes, and we have Beachcomber to save Spike. Again, I don't know if I can't remember Beachcomber being in the original. I still think these little mini bots are too small in their thing, because again they transform into cars, so you can't have the body of. I know Shockwave shrinks and grows, but I thought the idea of a lot of the ones now is that they kind of roughly stay the same kind of bulk and mass that the original ones do. So he should be at least, 6 foot wide, 8 to 10 feet wide, whereas obviously he's not. So obviously the toy wasn't. So anyway, Beachcomber's there, job done, end of issue, to be continued. So yeah, another good issue. Got a weird cover again next issue. I think I don't know if that's next issue. Anyway, still Destro to come next week, or this week even, which I think is going to be good. Hopefully get the anniversary issue of that, and then we've got the anniversary cover for Void Rivals. But yeah, this is a decent book. Again, Transformers is consistent. I was worried that the change of artist was going to cause problems. It hasn't. I think he's very similar in style. He's not as good. I think he's pretty decent. I think he's easily functional, and I honestly didn't think this kind of scratchy, kind of sketchy style would work with Transformers, because as I said before, I like my kind of giant robots in kind of like pinpoint mecha accuracy that you see in anime, that is kind of like every line is defined perfectly. I think it works really well. If anything, it just shows they're been battered around and smashed about and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, and the colouring works really well, so as well that helps. But yeah, another decent addition to the Transformers lore, and again, as I said it before, probably the best series going on at the moment, in my opinion. The Transformers in its own, and the Energon Universe as a whole, I think is very good, and yeah, very enjoyable. Every book in it is kind of ties into the next, and actually builds up to be a universe that affects each other, rather than kind of some of the bigger stuff from DC and Marvel, where you can have characters do one thing and be in another book doing something completely different, and they don't match over. As I've mentioned before, I preferred reading through the epics that Marvel put out. I loved it when they had 15 books or 10 books or whatever, because Fantastic Four showed up in that one, and then they'd mention, oh, they're in this, and everything seemed to match up and actually be consistent, and characters that are injured or whatever would not be in that book, and yeah, that was decent. But yeah, so anyway, let's hopefully they don't overblow this one, and we get 40 different Transformer books, and like a Transformers Cybertron, a Transformers Earth, and then Void Rivals, and a G.I. Joe and a Cobra book, and a miniseries as well, because that's just overdoing it. I think keep it tight, concise. That's the way to go. So yeah, that's enough of my ramblings. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.